Stop trying to optimize every second of your day. Seriously. Throw away the color-coded planners, the complex Notion templates, and the time-blocking apps that tell you to map out your life in 15-minute intervals. The industry built around making you more productive is lying to you. They tell you that rest is a weakness, a flaw in your work ethic, a temporary setback you must overcome with more caffeine and less sleep. They sell you the lie of hustle. And what has that done for you? Absolutely nothing. You wake up already behind schedule. You go to bed with a racing mind, agonizing over the tasks left unchecked, terrified of falling behind in a race you didn't even want to enter. You try the morning routines. You try the monk mode. It works for a week. Then the burnout creeps back in. You feel broken. You look at everyone else on social media, effortlessly grinding 18 hours a day, and you wonder what their secret is. Why does success seem so automatic for them, while you're drowning in a puddle of your own exhaustion? You're exhausted. Not just physically exhausted. Soul exhausted. You're tired of treating yourself like a machine that constantly needs a software update. You're tired of living in a state of perpetual motion, moving faster and faster toward a destination you haven't even defined. Modern society has taught you that this feeling is wrong. That you should be constantly achieving, constantly producing, constantly more. But what if I told you your exhaustion isn't a lack of discipline? What if I told you the problem isn't that you're not doing enough, but that you're doing far too much? What if I told you that trying to outwork your anxiety is exactly what's destroying your potential? If you want to stop feeling like a slave to your to-do list, keep watching. And if you're serious about redefining what real success looks like, hit subscribe. We don't do toxic productivity here. We do reality. Now, listen closely. 2,000 years ago, the Stoics figured this out. Men like Marcus Aurelius, an emperor managing the vast machinery of Rome while fighting brutal wars. Seneca, a statesman navigating the deadly, high-stakes politics of Nero's court. Epictetus, a man born into slavery who built a life of total mental freedom. These men faced more pressure, more real, world-altering demands in a single day than most of us will face in a lifetime. Did they hustle? Did they grind until they dropped? No. They understood something fundamental that we have completely forgotten. They understood the difference between motion and action. Between being busy and being effective. This is the turning point. The realization that separates the masters from the manic. Modern self-help tells you to expand your capacity. Add more hours to the day. Cut out sleep. Multitask until your brain bleeds. The Stoics tell you the exact opposite. They tell you to drastically reduce your inputs. You don't need to do more. You need to do less, but better. Your burnout comes from a simple, brutal error in logic. You are trying to be everything to everyone at all times. You are fighting a war against time, and you are guaranteed to lose. Every single time. And your brain, realizing this futile effort, floods your body with stress hormones. It screams at you, warning. We are running on empty, and we are going to crash. That crash is your burnout. It's not a moral failing. It's an alarm bell. It's your mind telling you that your definition of success is deeply flawed. You are demanding infinite output from a finite vessel. The Stoic doesn't demand infinite output. The Stoic demands only purpose. They demand only that their actions align with their deepest values, regardless of how much gets done. Imagine you are a sculptor. You don't start by violently hacking away at the marble with 50 different tools at once. You step back. You study the stone. You envision the form. You select one precise chisel. You make deliberate, focused strikes. The masterpiece isn't created by frantic activity. It's created by knowing exactly what to remove. If your peace of mind depends on a checked-off list, you will always feel inadequate. If your peace of mind depends on knowing you focused only on what truly mattered today, you will be calm. This is not a matter of trying harder. It's not about forcing yourself to relax. It's a matter of identity. Who are you? Are you a person who defines themselves by their output? By how busy they appear to others? By the relentless pursuit of more? If so, you will be a slave for the rest of your life. You will be a slave to the inbox, to the calendar, to the arbitrary demands of a culture that profits from your exhaustion. But what if you shift your identity? What if you define yourself not by what you produce, but by what you refuse to engage with? This is the paradigm shift. You stop saying, I have to do it all. You start saying, most of this doesn't matter. I will ignore the noise. I will protect my energy. You stop demanding that you operate like a machine. You demand that you operate like a human being with profound limits and immense power. Hustle culture feeds on the fear that you are never enough. Starve the fear. Lower your tolerance for bullshit tasks. Expect to disappoint people when you say no. Expect to feel the friction of swimming against the current. Expect the discomfort of stillness. When you anticipate the pushback, it loses its power to control you. Seneca wrote extensively about the shortness of life. He didn't mean life is too short to not be hustling every second. He meant life is too short to waste it on things that do not matter. When the pressure to perform hits, the frantic man scrambles faster, losing his direction entirely. The Stoic stops. He breathes. He asks himself, is this essential? He stands still amidst the chaos and says, I will only move when the action has meaning. This is true power. It's not the ability to outwork everyone else. It's the realization that true productivity is the byproduct of total clarity. It's about protecting your will, your focus, your time. Stop running on the hamster wheel. Step off. Look at it. Ask yourself what you are actually chasing. It usually just means you're trying to outrun a feeling of inadequacy. Let it go. Release the need to be busy. Focus only on your own essential purpose. Your own deliberate actions. Your own quiet strength. The rest is just noise. You are not lazy. You are just overwhelmed. Stop demanding endless stamina. Learn to build relentless focus. The noise is deafening regardless. You decide if you listen to it, or silence it. This is where the illusion completely shatters. You've been sold a narrative that action equals progress, that sweat equals success. But frantic action without direction is just a faster way to hit a wall. Look at the gurus selling you the hustle. Look closely at their eyes. Do they look peaceful? Do they look like they've mastered their minds? Or do they look like they are constantly terrified of losing their relevance, constantly terrified of the silence? They are running from themselves, and they want you to run with them. Because if you stop running, if you actually sit with yourself and find peace without producing, their entire business model collapses. They need you insecure. They need you exhausted. They need you dependent on their next productivity hack. The Stoics didn't need life hacks. They had discipline. And true discipline isn't forcing yourself to do more things you hate. True discipline is having the courage to ignore what doesn't matter. It takes immense courage to look at a full inbox and say, this can wait. It takes immense courage to close the laptop when everyone else is still online, bragging about their overtime. It takes courage to choose sanity over status. Marcus Aurelius wrote his Meditations not for publication, not to build a personal brand, but for himself. He wrote to keep himself grounded amidst the intoxicating power of being the Emperor of Rome. He reminded himself daily that fame is fleeting, that wealth is indifferent, that all the external things we hustle for can be taken away in an instant. What cannot be taken away? Your character. Your choices. Your ability to reason. This is your fortress. When you build your life around external validation, promotions, likes, checking boxes, you build your house on sand. The next algorithm change, the next economic downturn, the next shift in office politics, and your whole foundation washes away. But when you build your life on Stoic principles, you build on bedrock. You define your own success. You define success as maintaining your tranquility, acting with virtue, and fulfilling your actual duties, not the fabricated duties imposed by society. Think about Epictetus. A slave. His body was not his own. His time was not his own. Yet, he was arguably freer than the men who owned him. Why? Because he mastered the dichotomy of control. He understood that he couldn't control his circumstances, but he had absolute sovereignty over his response to them. Hustle culture tells you to try and control everything. To manipulate every variable, optimize every minute, force outcomes through sheer willpower. It's an arrogant and exhausting way to live. The Stoic knows better. The Stoic categorizes the world brutally and efficiently: what is up to me, and what is not up to me. Your effort is up to you. The result is not. Your integrity is up to you. Your reputation is not. Your focus is up to you. The interruptions are not. When you internalize this, the need to hustle evaporates. You stop stressing over the things you cannot control. You pour all that wasted energy into the few things you can control. This is the secret to doing less but achieving more. It's the hyper-concentration of energy. You aren't scattering your attention across 100 different pointless tasks. You are focusing it like a laser on the one or two things that actually move the needle. And then, you let go of the rest. You literally have to let it go. You have to accept that some emails won't get answered. You have to accept that some projects will move slower than you'd like. You have to accept that you might not be the most productive person in the room according to the broken standards of modern society. But you will be the most focused. You will be the most intentional. And you will be the one who actually enjoys the process, rather than just surviving it. We are addicted to the struggle. We wear our exhaustion like a badge of honor. I only slept 4 hours last night. I haven't taken a day off in a month. We say these things like we are proud of them. Like we are boasting about how little we value our own well-being. It's a sickness. And the cure isn't a vacation. The cure isn't a bubble bath. The cure is a fundamental rewiring of how you perceive your own worth. Your worth is not tied to your output. Your worth is inherent. When you stop trying to earn your right to exist through constant labor, you free yourself to do actual, meaningful work. The work that requires deep thought. The work that requires creativity. The work that requires a rested mind. You cannot do deep work when you are in a state of perpetual panic. You cannot be creative when your brain is screaming for rest. You have to choose. Do you want to be busy, or do you want to be effective? Do you want to look successful, or do you want to be successful? The Stoic chooses effectiveness. The Stoic chooses reality. The reality is that you are going to die. Seneca reminds us of this constantly. Memento mori. Remember you must die. It sounds morbid, but it's actually the most liberating thought you can have. When you remember that your time here is finite, that this could be your last day, your priorities clarify instantly. Are you going to spend your last day arguing with a stranger on the internet? Are you going to spend it stressing over a presentation that no one will remember in a week? Or are you going to spend it doing what is truly essential? Being present with your loved ones. Pursuing the work that fulfills your soul. Acting with integrity. Hustle culture wants you to forget about death. It wants you to believe you have infinite time to chase infinite goals. It's a delusion that keeps you running on the treadmill. Step off the treadmill. Look at your life through the lens of eternity. Most of the things you are stressing about are completely insignificant. Let them burn away. Keep only what matters. This requires discipline, yes. But it's a different kind of discipline. It's the discipline of subtraction. The discipline of saying no. The discipline of guarding your attention as if it were your most precious resource, because it is. Where your attention goes, your life follows. If your attention is constantly fractured by the demands of others, by the ping of notifications, by the manufactured urgency of the modern world, your life will be fractured. If your attention is focused, deliberate, and aligned with your values, your life will be solid. You must become ruthless with your time. Not to squeeze more work into it, but to protect the space for stillness. Stillness is where clarity is born. Stillness is where you hear your own voice above the noise of the crowd. The masters of the universe, the people who actually change the world, they don't do it by hustling 24/7. They do it by protecting their ability to think clearly. And you cannot think clearly if you are constantly in motion. So, stop moving. Just for a moment. Stop planning. Stop optimizing. Stop striving. Breathe. Realize that right now, in this moment, you are enough. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to earn your rest. Rest is not a reward for a job well done. Rest is a biological necessity. When you treat it as a luxury, you destroy the very engine that drives your life. The Stoics knew that a sharp axe cuts down the tree faster than a dull one swung with twice the effort. Your mind is the axe. Rest is the whetstone. If you are constantly swinging, constantly hustling, your blade gets dull. You start making mistakes. You lose your temper. You lose your perspective. You become the frantic, exhausted, anxious person you are right now. It doesn't have to be this way. You can choose a different path. The path of the Stoic. The path of deliberate action, profound focus, and radical acceptance. It won't be easy. The world will push back. People will call you lazy. They will say you lack ambition. Let them. Their opinions are not in your control. Your peace of mind is. Choose peace. Choose focus. Choose to do less, and by doing so, achieve mastery over yourself. That is the only victory that truly matters. The noise is deafening. You decide if you listen to it, or silence it. Stop running from yourself. Stand still. Claim your power.